So you start recording, and then suddenly every noise picks up. Guy next door just banging away for no reason, car alarms going off, people screaming. You're like, come on guys, seriously, need to record about Supergirl. So hey Rangers, today we are going to be talking about Supergirl episode 6. Now in case you're wondering where 5 is, yeah, sorry, I've just been ridiculously busy, and you're seeing why over the channel. But let's talk about episode 6 of Supergirl. Now rather than doing the top 10 what, I decided to do a review because this episode didn't really have that much of a, how do I say it? It didn't have much action going on. It was more of a flashback episode, so we're going to talk about it being reviewed. The episode reflects back on Kara and Alex not being friends or sisters, but being more acquaintances. The episode starts of Kara and Alex actually just driving back home, and this is where they're kind of not speaking because everything that's happened with Maggie, and as soon as like Alex gets home, she tries to give him a hug, but it's like she just doesn't care. She just wants to get inside, and that's it. When Kara has that kind of heart-to-heart with her mother, she starts trying to have a heart-to-heart with Alex, but Alex shoots her down straight away and says, no, you didn't open up about Mon-El, so I'm not going to open up about this. How dare you even think about this? And Kara just gets really annoyed. She's like, well, you're being nasty drunk. I'm going to go to bed, and you need to get some sleep as well. We go back 10 years now into this flashback, and this is when you see the hatred between Kara and Alex all the time, and they're not kind of really like gelling together, if that's a word. But this is when like Kara goes into the bathroom early, when Alex's mum says, look, you know, you've got to treat Kara with respect, etc, etc. And Alex is like, I don't care. She's not my sister. She is just a person. We're then introduced to Ken. He is the main focus on this episode. Ken is Kara's friend. He tries to make friends with Alex, or at least tries to speak to her. And as typical high school, he is shot down. This is when the main like kind of jock guy like bullies him, and Kara can't take it. But then later on, he asks her out and says, look, you know, meet me at this place at this time. And soon after Ken says, meet me here, we go straight to that actual scene. And Ken says, look, you know, I've made a program where it hooks up to my telescope, and when you look into stars, it records everything you see. And it's really cool. I've got to admit, I really like this. But then he leans in for a kiss with Kara. They kind of stop because they're friends. And then soon after, he says, like, yes, everything from the telescope gets recorded to my laptop, pictures, etc., etc. We then flash to the next day, and then we find out that Ken has been murdered. Kara gets annoyed at everybody in the school because mainly everyone's like saying, oh God, we miss Ken, Ken's blah, blah, blah. Kara then says, oh, how can anyone do this? Like, they didn't know him. And then we've got the jock Luke, who really annoys me. He bullied Ken at the very beginning, and Kara just goes after him. She, you know, turns around and says like, you know, what did you do to Ken? And he's like, well, wouldn't you like to know? You know, maybe he deserved this, maybe I did it. And Kara just loses it and almost breaks his arm. And he buckles straight away. He's like, no, oh yeah, I was doing this, I was doing that, I didn't do it. And Kara just leaves. And you kind of think, do you know what? I would have at least smacked him in the face once just to knock him out and say like, you are going down, boy. Later that night, Kara decides she's going to go and look around the forest to see if there's any clues, to see what was going on. She couldn't find the laptop, and she couldn't find the telescope, so she made a promise previously to Ken's mum that she would go find it. This is when she bumps into Alex, and I like the fact that when Kara is scared, she shoots lasers out of her eyes, and Alex is like, whoa, what are you doing? Kara's like, well, you know, when I get scared, I just fire it. And now it's like, get that under control. And I kind of like this because for the entire episode, you see like Kara developing her powers. Previously, when she found out about Ken, she was running. She decided to try and fly, but she couldn't. So she just bounded and she leapt. Soon after, Alex says, look, you've got to go and find stuff. I can't see in the dark, but you can. This is when Kara uses X-ray vision to actually try and find things, and she finds the laptop. Now, when they get the laptop home, they reference, I think, Chloe from Smallville, because she says, oh, Clark's got a friend called Chloe. She's like a computer hacker or computer expert, as well as like she's got this weird wall. And even though I've not really watched a lot of Smallville, I know the name, so I kind of think that they reference this, and I'm thinking, oh, if they do, could this now mean that Supergirl is in the Smallville universe? But then that wouldn't kind of work, because then we've had Supergirl. I remember her being in Smallville, so I don't know. Maybe this is just like a throwaway reference, maybe this is just something, but it's really kind of interesting to see. When Alex and Kara go through the laptop, they find an image that was sent via email, which was of Josie and Mr. Bernard, and they're kind of like, how do I say, they're kind of having a relationship, and this kind of makes them go, oh, well, you know, since Ken knew about this, Mr. Bernard is the killer. They later on, Alex confronts Josie and says, look, you know, this is a picture, you can't do this is wrong, he shouldn't be doing this. And Josie's like, well, I'm in love, it doesn't matter, you know, in 5 years, who cares, you know, people won't batter an eyelid. But this is when Alex says, look, you know, this is wrong, you know, this is when he's going to be put in prison. And even after you've had these like 5 years, you know, he's still going to be in prison for what he's done to you. As soon as like they kind of stop talking about this, Josie goes off to speak to Mr. Bernard. This is when we switch to another scene, which is Alex and Kara just walking home, and they're talking about what's happening, and they're saying, like, you know, they're starting to bond. And then all of a sudden, a car comes out the way and almost knocks him over. This is when Kara uses the powers of flight and actually holding onto Alex so that they don't fall to their doom, etc., etc. This is when they go, yes, it's Mr. Bernard. He is the one that is coming to attack us. We know about Josie, and also we know that he killed Ken. At this point, Alex and Kara's mum arrive on the scene, and she's worried. She's going, oh my god, are you okay? And they briefly tell her what's going on. We then switch to the house where Alex's mum says, go to your room. And then she starts speaking to Kara saying, look, you can't use your powers. You can't do this. And this is when Kara says, no, I should do. You know, I need to use it to help people. Kara and Alex's mum then introduce her to FBI agent Noel Neal, who then basically has a conversation with Kara. Kara thinks that this is her mum because she looks spot on. As the conversation goes on between them, the FBI agent says, look, you need to kind of stop using your powers. You know, you don't want to hurt people. And then Kara promises that she won't use them. As the FBI agent gets into the car, she turns it into John. So John has literally just gone, I am going to convince you not to use your power, but I look like your mum. Out of all the people in the world, I look like your mum. Josie turns up out of nowhere, and she says, like, you know, you told people about Mr. Bernard and how, you know, he's now been arrested. And Alex goes, like, were you with him all night? He's like, yeah, I was. And this then sparks the fact that actually it wasn't Mr. Bernard who actually tried to kill her or even kill Kenny. And this is when she goes to Kara, and Kara's like, no powers, I'm not doing this, you know, we're all done. And then Alex goes off to the football stadium. She meets Sheriff Collins. She tells Mr. Collins about everything. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, or we need to go into this corridor because it's too loud out here so we can talk. This is time Alex has already confessed that she's got a laptop, all the evidence, and the sheriff is like, okay, cool, no problem. And at that point, he pulls a gun on her, and he's like, I'm really sorry, I told you not to get into this, how dare you? At this point, this is when Kara rings Alex, and Alex is like, yeah, I'm at the stadium, or trying to say, like, you know, be nonchalant, say, yeah, I'm at the stadium, hence giving her a clue. At this point, she's told to hand over the phone. Sheriff Collins turns around and rings Kara, says, I know where it is now. And this is when Alex has turned around and said, hey, I'm at the stadium, and Kara literally just says, screw it, and she flies off towards Alex. This is when Sheriff Collins turns around and goes, you know, I'm sick and tired, this is when I need more money, this is the reason why, you know, Ken died, because, you know, I was doing a drug ring, etc., etc. At that point, Alex says, you know, there is someone always watching, there is one person, and she's right here. She calls on Kara. Kara blasts into the room, knocks him out through the kind of rubble, hitting him in the face, and this is when they kind of end. After the whole rubble hitting Mr. Collins, it now goes to the school, and Alex is trying to talk to Josie. Josie's like, don't ever speak to me whatsoever. And after that, that's pretty much it. Kara and Alex start bonding, saying, like, you know, we should hang out tonight, and they're liking it. We actually now find that Ken knew all about Kara, about her powers, because there's a photo that has been sent, and it's of Kara flying. They start joking, and Kara says, like, you know, he tried to kiss me, I would have kissed him back, and, you know, I really liked him now. This is when we now switch back to the house, and where the girls are talking, but then Alex's mum walks in and says, look what I've got. It's a present from you from Ken's family, and it's actually the telescope. It was actually in the boot of the sheriff's car, and they all like it. And this is when the kind of flashback ends, and we come straight to the end of the episode. This is when Alex wakes up, she finds Kara outside using that telescope, and I'm like, why would you use it in the day? Why are you looking through it? I can understand it being a symbol of how you guys got together, how you guys became friends, but why would you use it? Why can't you just like leave it on a table? And that's when Kara's outside. She's like kind of just like drinking coffee, looking out over into like the bay, etc., etc. It's just kind of really weird. So this is now when we have Alex and Kara making up. They're actually kind of breaking down to each other and like kind of opening up to each other. Kara says like, I think she's going to start opening up and talking about it, but she's now getting better. And then Alex is like, yeah, you know, Maggie kind of hurt me, etc., etc. There's a lot of kind of like sister bonding. At this point, the episode is coming to an end, and the girls are now heading back to the DEO. And this is when John says, if you scratch my car, I'm going to put you in confinement, and that's it. The episode starts ending with Kara's mum saying, remember what I told you? And then Alex is saying that she's not going to be strong enough because Kara's mum says, like, you know, you're my strong girl. And she's like, no, I'm not going to be as strong yet. And this is when the episode ends. The girls start bonding again over music. And I kind of would have liked if the ghost of Ken was somewhere just looking back, and this is when Kara could look back and just nod. I think that would have been a really nice touch to it. The episode ends there, and to be honest, it wasn't a bad episode. It was very kind of like very peaceful. It wasn't an action-packed episode to some degree, but it wasn't like oh, next week is going to be something like amazing. I think they're kind of building up for it. This was kind of a way of the girls reconnecting and obviously them moving on. So I think like in the next couple of episodes we're going to see that Alex moves on, as in like she kind of starts getting over Maggie, and I think this is when Kara turns around and says, I'm now slowly getting over Mon-El properly. And then that's it. So the episode wasn't too bad. It was something a little bit different, and I kind of liked it. I'm just hoping next week is going to be kind of more action-packed, as well as more progression of the storyline. So Rangers, what did you think about this? Did you like it? Did you not? What are your thoughts on Supergirl so far? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the other videos on the channel. If you want to help on Patreon, the link will be down in the description below. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.